Hi, my name is Steve, and as a massage therapist, I find myself talking about Raynaud's syndrome quite a bit. So, what I wanted to do today is really just kind of unpack some of the comments and questions and things that I typically talk with clients who come in experiencing Raynaud's syndrome. And once again, my medical license is for massage therapy, and because I see a lot of fibromyalgia and heavily stressed clients, most of my experience is coming from those style of those demographics. So there are other types of Raynaud's that I'm not going to get into today with this conversation, and I would encourage you to connect with either if you think that's what you have. Great, go check with your doctor, get it confirmed. But let's just talk about what I see and what is this thing, what does it look like, and what do we do about it, right? So basically, Raynaud's is a vascular condition inside usually it's your hands and your feet, it's in your extremities, it's the smaller capillaries that take the blood flow out to the tips of your fingers. And if you've ever had zombie hands, is what some people refer to them as. I've had multiple clients refer to them as that, where they go to use their cell phone and the screen doesn't do what it's supposed to do. They can't turn it on, they can't turn it off. It's really just problematic for them. They're also, whenever they go to like get into bed with their partner, they're like, get ready because the hands are coming, right? And it's honestly primarily women. Men have this as well, but I would say if I had to throw an estimate out there, I would say the vast majority of like 3/4 of the clients that come in that present with Raynaud's syndrome are females, and their fingers turn blue, they get icy, and they hurt sometimes because they're so cold and so numb, and they'll blow on them. They'll hold hot chocolate. They're doing what they can do to get this stuff back flowing. And then after we work with them for a little while, the goal is that their body remembers what it's supposed to be doing and it sends it out. So primarily, the primary piece that we're going to look at is that most people experience this whenever they are around somewhere between like late teens and like 30-ish, somewhere in there. And that's couple different reasons involved. Some of those is that's when you actually like leave the comfort and the nest of your normal home and you start jumping out into the stressful world of adulting, right? And there are a lot of schools of thought that believe that this is primarily an autoimmune response where your body starts restricting blood flow to places because it's concerned about its vitality, and it keeps it all pooled in the core. It's like a mild version of shock, so to speak. And I encourage clients whenever they talk about these things, my goal is to help them identify the patterns that lead down to a scenario where they have these things manifesting in their life. So I ask them to take notes of where do these symptoms, what are you doing when these things come out? A lot of times you're driving, and as you're driving, if you get on the interstate and you get other places and you go to touch the television, the radio, it doesn't work, right? You can't navigate it because your fingers are so cold and your body's like, I am not alive. And so it might be due to some of the stresses that are associated with whatever the activity is that you're doing. Getting on the interstate, going to your a friend or an acquaintance's house, going to your job. If you're always cold and you can never get warm, it's not always reflective of the amount of heat that you're in. We live in sunny Florida, Central Florida, and it was like 90 degrees a couple days ago. It got cold recently. It's like in the upper 60s right now. But on a normal day, on a normal Florida sunshiny excursion, I will see people wearing long sleeve clothing, like hoodies and stuff. And like right now, because it's in the 60s and we're like, oh, it's cool. But if you're wearing a hoodie, whenever you're out and about on a day that it is 85 degrees, ask yourself, is it because my body, what is going on here? If everyone else is in shorts and you're primarily protecting yourself, just consider that maybe, there's a regulation issue going on. And if you feel it in your hands and feet, this might be for you. The cool thing about this, the way it's easy to recognize, is a lot of the times it is mirrored. So it's not just that one hand gets cold. It's that your body has the same response to both hands or both feet or all of them, right? Both hands and both feet may suddenly just get icy cold for no reason. And it's amazing. I used to, Pepper used to have Raynaud's that was very much a living part of our life. And I would be like, how are you colder than the air that you're in? Like, you're 98.6 and we're in a room that's in the mid 70s. I would swear your fingers are like 50 degrees. And this was whenever we were experiencing fibromyalgia flares and stress flares and other things that were sending her body into mild shock, into mild fight or flight. And as we started working through those things, we were able to journal and categorize or catalog all of the triggers and characteristics that were unique to her. And we were able to, look those up and say, okay, so let's unpack this, let's unpack this, let's unpack this. And now I can't think of the last time that she's actually had to get me to unlock her phone because her fingers were numb. Now there is another type of Raynaud's that's going to be the secondary case, and that's going to be related to like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and other pieces. Those are also, there are things that you can do in the realm of what we're talking about. But once again, if yours is caused by, because you run a jackhammer all day long and you have damaged your vessels, that's a different story. There's people whose veins constrict because they're having a response that says, I need to pool my blood in my core for safety. And then there are people who do things all day long. They're using some sort of vibratory aid of some kind, depending on what their job is. And as such, they've damaged the blood vessels. Those are different stories. And you can look at as a massage therapist, I can look at veins and I can say, this is something this is in scope for me, or this is not in scope for me. So if your veins are all bulgy because something has happened that has deteriorated their ability to let blood flow, it's a whole different conversation than what we're talking about here with just the autoimmune, the internal response for Raynaud's. Let's look through here. So distinguishing those two forms is important. And when you talk to your provider, it's interesting. Some people come to me and they believe they've had this for their whole life, and they say that is just who I am. And I ask that question: what if there were a way that we could breathe you down into a space and get you calm enough to where you could see your fingers come back alive one time? What if that were a reality that are you able to map to what that would look like and feel like for you? If the answer is yes, I can envision a place where my body stops doing this response. We are perfect, in alignment here, because I can show you how to get there through this course and through hands-on practice. Thank you.